We need to address the elephant in the room. I've tried my best not to read the comments, and I've tried my best not to watch videos from people covering the same thing because I want these thoughts to come from me, okay? I want to give my take on this as someone who has been through similar. I'm going to talk about this in order from beginning to end, excluding the trailer, and yeah, I like the guest stars. Very funny. We have Porky the Pig, Moist Critical, Keemstar, Cold Raven, Asmongold, Hassan Piker, Destiny, Sniper Wolf. You'll see. Okay, the first thing that was apparent to me was his mom, particularly her weight. I don't want to talk ill of the dead, I'm sorry. I don't know if this is her or if this is someone else representing her. Because she was obese, her son followed her footsteps into becoming obese as well. How is this relevant? Well, I'll talk about that later throughout the video, actually. All right. The thing about EDP is that his story is very predictable. Like, I assumed that he was going to start talking about something happening in high school or somewhere during his developmental years, some form of exclusion due to his obesity maybe. And a girl named Martha led him on and was embarrassed to be seen with him in public, right? I'm going to partially blame his mom because she has not taught her child how to eat properly. She set him on a path, right, that would lead him to further exclusion. His exclusion led him to being isolated. He's confined in his own room where he just sits down and jerks off all day. I'm assuming he hasn't been enrolled into sports. No discipline, no drive, no commitment, nothing that he'd want to aspire towards. No goals. None of that stuff has been introduced to him at an early age. I want to say more, but I'll have to wait. Let's continue. I want to talk about his apathetic attitude as well. He doesn't seem to care about anything. He feels like he has nothing much to lose. The only time he cares is if it's the worst case scenario, like if his life is at stake. I mean, the reason why he liked the Eagles logo so much was because the eagle looked angry. He was attracted to the villains because he believes that, just like him, they shouldn't be held accountable for antagonizing others. Did he say that? No, I just thought his reason for it was bull. Villains are cool, but why would he want to be the villain in his own story, right? When R. Belly came up with the username, this diddler weighed himself at 445 pounds. 445. 445. There's no reason for you to weigh that much at the age of 19. 19! I mean, he was funny. I'd give him that, right? But how long is the resentment supposed to last? Not this long. If you want women to respect you, which is already too late, I don't think anyone would ever respect you, and the ones that would give you a chance are the people you'd push away, you need to find solutions to your issues. Stop making excuses. Think, why are women rejecting me left and right? And try your best to work on that. If girls in high school could see why, if girls in middle school could see why, something is wrong. He does not care about himself, so why should women care about him? Instant gratification. We made the wrong guy famous. I don't think any of us could have known though, so I don't really blame us. Well, up until that point where he rants about the age of consent, I'll put those videos in the description for proof. This is just an uncircumcised, technically it is because of the background noise. Technically it is circumcised, whatever. So raw, so real, so base, so red pilled, so America first. Okay, this is a rant, all right? So I'll be a little disorganized. But, okay, so it's not about the money. What is it, EDP? What could it possibly be? It's obvious you get no pee. You're clinically obese. Your feces is on the screen. The women leave you on scene. Stranger danger, the minors scream. He looks like the epitome of stranger danger. I'm not even trying to be funny. He's aware of his actions. Don't get it twisted. The only reason why he's always walking on eggshells around it and why he's beating around the bush is because he's under the impression that he'll be held accountable for his actions. Notice how every time he gets away with it, he continues to interact with them? Yeah, because he doesn't find it wrong. This one was especially haunting to me for so many reasons. The reasons that I can articulate are him being able to control this person because he couldn't have control over the woman his age. From middle school up till now, he wants to feel like he's finally conquered something for once. He lives vicariously through sports players, despite not looking like as if he plays sports. He talks the way that he talks to demand respect from others. He threatens people with violence if they do not comply or if they voice their disdain for him. He wants to win each and every single time, but he just can't. So he tries to find ways to find that sense of superiority. That's where his love for children stems from. Lack of control. He's a loser. I know people know this already, but this is something that I could go on and on and on about. Oh my gosh. He likes underage girls because he can warp their perceptions of what true masculinity is. He wants to conquer their minds. He can coerce them into finding loser, bottom of the barrel, no purpose having, repulsive, predatory, victim complex having, insecure men like himself attractive. Kids do not have a full grasp of what is right and what is wrong. They can feel when something is wrong, but they don't have much foresight. They can't fully articulate what is wrong, and they don't know how to get themselves out of a situation, especially in cases like this. He knows this and takes advantage of that. He cannot think about anybody but himself. Thank God this was a decoy. But has he ever thought that maybe the reason why that minor is seeking validation from him in the first place is because she is most likely, or she could be most likely, depressed, lonely, and isolated? Most victims of predators tend to be insecure of themselves or feel confined and isolated within one place. After this, he goes through withdrawal. He will block and then unblock, block and then unblock, right? He's having post-nut clarity, whatever. He knows that this is wrong, but because it's illegal. No, Sophie, we can't do this. It's illegal. Not no, Sophie, you're too young. Not crickets, because you have no business talking to her in the first place. He only puts emphasis on the legality. Legality does not equate to morality. In some countries, Sophie could be considered a legal adult. That does not mean that she should be scarred and have a distorted lens that can get in the way of her capabilities. You're angry about people screwing your life over, but what about the minors you've talked to? I cannot speak for other victims, but after I've been bombarded with all of that adult nonsense, that emotional baggage, the built-up childhood trauma that these predators tend to have, and after I've been introduced to all of that at an early age, right, hence why I have a deeper voice, right, so I could be taken seriously, and reclaim control, whatever, I never knew anything about dating, right? Why would it even go there? The aftermath of that wasn't nice. My perception of the opposite sex wasn't nice either. I've kept ruminating about those instances. A part of me thought this was a good idea, that was a good thing, and that it was something I should actively seek out. I saw everyone as the enemy in general. I was so paranoid. I couldn't see my male family members the same, all because I was scared that every interaction would lead up to that point. I don't want to go into detail, right? I don't want to get into detail, but I've also blamed myself for a lot of the things and would take that anger out on myself. I noticed that a lot of survivors or victims have done that as well. I'm glad that I can separate the good from the bad now. I'm also trying to recover from the physical damage I put myself through. So far, I'm doing great, okay? And I hope that everyone who's been through this is actively working on taking care of themselves, okay? We do not want our trauma to hurt ourselves or hurt other people. Sophie was a decoy, but Kayla wasn't. Just because Kayla was aware about EDP grooming her, that does not mean that it wouldn't be traumatizing for her. Being a teenager and receiving validation from someone who's older, someone who has more status and is relevant, right? Climbing his way back into relevancy, that can be overwhelming. Even though she knows what he's about, it could still be a lot for her, right? If she was safe and if she was not isolated, she wouldn't have participated, right? She wouldn't have to. But she had no other choice but to go along with it because everybody else around her was telling her to participate in the sting operation, even at her own detriment. I'm sorry, why is he talking about her like as if she's a literal, like, some random broad on the streets and not a literal child? This needs to be studied. He cannot differentiate a grown woman from a literal child. Why are you calling her that? And killing? Yeah, he wants to seek vengeance because he sees everything as a personal attack when in reality he is the offender. The problem is he's losing the war. I don't want to repeat myself more times than I already have to. A nut is more important than his livelihood. A nut. No woman with self-respect is going to hold this guy's red nut to such a high regard. I love how Kayla can understand that two things can be true at once. She understands that none of the adults are in the right in this situation. EDP was the perpetrator, true, but do you know how you could have prevented him from talking to children? Not having him to be in proximity to children, Gideon, my God. I am noticing a huge pattern, no pun intended. He cannot control his food intake. He cannot control his sexual urges. He cannot control and stop the conversations with minors that supposedly initiate them with him. He cannot control the rejections he's faced in grade school. He cannot control his responses to that sort of rejection, right? He cannot control his mouth. He cannot control his income and his finances. What can he control? He has a huge lack of impulse control and is constantly trying to gain that control. The ramifications of his food addiction is similar to the ramifications of his porn addiction. I notice how EDP can and has gone through the worst case scenarios for these things. Near-death experiences and near jail sentence experiences, right? And yet he still has this mentality of continuing to go through with it anyway. He lacks discipline and sees effort as unattainable. Are you wondering why women do not want to be around you? You don't even try to be respectable. Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Convenience. Convenience is the bane of this man's existence. I talk to children because it's convenient, dude. I eat horribly because it's convenient, dude. I jerk off in my room because it's convenient. I sit down most of the day because it's convenient. I love you, Kara. Thank you for taking one for the team, okay? But I think he needs a little bit more than just therapy, okay? I think it's too late. No, he got away with it twice and has not gone to jail, so I doubt it would be possible for him to be charged. But I don't think therapy is enough. You can never go wrong with Fat Jesus and Jimmy by your side. Considering that he spoke out against talking to middle schoolers and was yet talking to a 13-year-old decoy, I wouldn't trust him with little kids either. Okay, this one's pretty funny. We have Dry Supportive, DJ Killer Keemstar, Mudasar, Habark Shocker, da, 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 Cockroach, Care Bear number 1. Miranda's predator archetype is a little different, right? She has mentally not matured and wants to be perceived as cool, so she seeks validation from everybody, even when they're younger. Children can be brutally honest, so when she receives validation from them, she feels accepted within the group and feels as though she's above criticism. Not being able to set boundaries and having these close relationships with children where you talk about sexual topics is also just as bad. Pinkie Pie and Sniffle Wolf have gotten away with their controversies, and that's why EDP has a vendetta against them. He wishes that was him, but the internet does not forget, and it will never forget, okay? You cannot escape. So there's CUP, there's Density, there's EDPville, okay, because EDP, Oompa Loompa, you know the drill. Ethan Diorio Klein, okay? Nick orbits around Ethan 444 times. One problem, Ela's too old for you, EDP. Oh my gosh, I remember this one thing that he posted where he said that he thought that the AOC was sexy. I mean, she is. She's a beautiful woman. She's Gorgina. But Buki, do you know what the AOC also stands for? The age of consent. And I'm not sure you'd be really into that, EDP. Women who are watching this video, I'm so sorry for being hard on you guys. But this victim complex is what deters women from approaching you. You cannot hate something if you haven't tried at it in the first place. What even is that? Eating better is not unrealistic. Not giving into your sexual proclivities isn't unrealistic. But guess what happens when no one has set the foundation for you to solve issues as soon as, or better yet, before they arrive? By the time you try to fix it, it's always too late. You're screwed. If you're wondering why he has a huge aversion to gay people, a lot of Black people, particularly Christian Black people, have an aversion to gays, right? This isn't only specific to Black Americans. People in the Caribbean and the majority of Africans also have an aversion to gay people. Personally, I think we should focus on the closeted ones and the real threats, right? Instead of worrying about dudes who are openly gay, right? Oh, she's cute, but she has kids. How much money do you want to bet that each of those kids know exactly who he is and would do whatever they can to get away from him? Everyone knows who you are, EDP, even the people who have not watched you prior to that instance. Peep the projection. His insecurities are looking right back at him. That's his way of being in control. If he can't have control over something, he has to force his way into it. Greediness shows. His look is a big warning sign. Huge signal. Andrew and Tristan rape. Okay. Donald Duck, who I love, by the way, I love Donald Duck so much. Okay. Along with Israel, I love them both equally. Okay. I love Israel slightly more. Joe Frogan, Flesh and Tit, Care Bear number 2, Sneaky, and Just Pasty Things. Yay, we're getting somewhere, EDP. Those are real soldiers. When I saw this part, a part of me was like, aw, he's being charitable towards her. He hasn't pushed her away. He hasn't talked bad about her physical appearance. They've been cordial to each other. She's actually around his age. And then, oh, okay, who would have seen that coming? She's insufferable because she actually wants to look past his past? What? I'm not trying to be mean, but what were you expecting? You didn't earn that. You're using the whole number ranking system like as if your number is anywhere on the scale. Your ranking, right, your rating has not exited the tenths yet. The tenths with a THS. Tenths. I don't know if this is actually because of him, but I'm leaning towards the possibility that she feels insecure about herself and wonders how this will go between both of them. How will this work, by the way? Genuine question. Porn addiction can get worse over time. He is the living result of that. He can make the argument that this cannot seep into the real world, but he almost went to jail twice because of it. Are you sure this is inconsequential? I think he sends pictures of his fecal matter to be funny. His humor is the only thing he has left. He is in denial and does not want to be what he fears most. To make himself seem more innocent, he incriminates the minors. If the minors are initiating contact, your goal is to stop that. You had control over the conversation, and conveniently, okay, it always heads in the direction that you want it to go down. This isn't even about the physical appearance of these girls because of the 13-year-old decoy. Him being transparent when it comes to teenagers is already bad, but preteens? Okay, I'm done. In conclusion, edp445 cannot take control of any aspect of his life. Nobody respects him. He wants things in an instant. He doesn't work hard for anything. He prefers convenience over stability, which women would also want to steer clear from, by the way. I'm glad that kids are aware of who you are. They'll know how to act accordingly and avoid you like the plague, the black plague, the kidney failure plague.